Welcome to Simply Paperless, the trailblazers in revolutionizing how you manage business processes. Today, we've got something extraordinary in store for you. You're about to hear first-hand accounts from remarkable individuals working in county government, all of whom have experienced incredible transformations thanks to our cutting-edge Tracks platform. Prepare to be amazed as we delve into how road tracks, animal tracks, and HR tracks have revolutionized their daily tasks, benefiting both their teams and the constituents of Madison County.
Here in Madison County Road Department, talking with the supervisor, Scott Shepard. Thank you, Scott,
Yes, sir.
for a moment of your time today. We're here to talk about the Tracks platform, specifically road tracks. And let me start out by asking you, so when you come in the morning, about how long is it before you refer to that platform?
Nearly immediately. We have our morning meetings every morning at 7 a.m. To try to get the guys started. And the Tracks program allows me to see what work orders are open, what's been requested by the constituents, and what our team has done the previous day, so I know what's outstanding and what I need to direct them to do for the day.
So really good visibility into the day before and then what's ahead for today.
Exactly.
And then throughout the day, how many times do you think that you refer to the platform?
Every time that a new request from a constituent comes in, I'm notified on my phone and by email. So I look at it several times a day to see if there's anything super important that we need to move to the top of the priority list.
Okay. So it sounds like then it's significantly impacted your daily work?
It has. It allows us to track our people, what they're doing, where they're at. It even goes so far as to record where each employee is on each job site. It records their time. It records the materials that they use, so we know daily what we need to restock or reorder, and it just gives us a real-time look at what's going on in the daily work schedule.
Does it help to manage your daily costs as well, as far as?
It does to a point. We're required to provide the maintenance on the roads, so we have a yearly budget, and we keep up with it monthly. But this allows us at the end of every month to be able to track how much we've spent on certain items and know where we're going to be in the future.
Okay, perfect. What do you think the impact has been to the constituents of Madison County?
I think it's got them a lot quicker service. I think that the accountability for the tax dollars that's spent are really kept up with now. And I think that any question that a constituent had about any road in the county and what's been spent on it, or what time we have spent there, we will be able to answer it pretty quickly.
That's tremendous. Thank you very much, Scott. How long before your day begins before you think you refer to that platform?
Usually first thing in the morning. First thing we do is log in, we'll check calls that were left over from the day before, make sure everything's been run. Anytime anybody calls with a complaint, if not immediately, in probably the first hour of our day starting, we'll log in because you have to file complaints and things like that. So pretty immediate.
And then throughout the day, as the day moves along, do you find yourself referring to it often, or?
Yeah, fairly often. Anytime we want to do a response to a call, we have to log in. Anytime we do an adoption, we get open records requests for statistical data, and we can use animal tracks to look up statistics. So several times throughout the day. I usually don't close the window, I keep it pulled up.
Okay, great. So you've been using the platform and serving here in the shelter long enough to know what life was like before Tracks.
Yes.
So would you say that it's improved your day-to-day workload? And if so, how do you think it has?
I would say yes, just strictly on the basis that we are no longer doing everything on paper logs. That was the most tedious task. One, you have to have somewhere to store all those paper logs. Two, there's an incredible amount of room for error when you're doing everything on paper. What happens if you lose it? Now we can have all of our open complaint calls, all of our dogs, regardless of what area they're in, whether they're on stray hold, whether they're adoptable, whether they're on medical hold. They're all in one area for quick access and easy viewing. Any data we might need is all available in one place.
That's great. So how do you think that it's impacted the constituents of Madison County?
I think it's made things a lot easier. Our adoption process is much more streamlined now. It's all on a tablet. They get everything digitally. There's PDFs that are auto-created that get emailed to them when they adopt. Used to, they would have to fill out paper forms, then we would have to translate and keep everything in an Excel spreadsheet, which again is very tedious. You're typing out everybody's info every time they adopt. And now everything's digital. It's easier for them and easier for us. If we get open records requests for animal control complaints, which happens often, I just got one today, all I have to do is log in and I can send them a direct PDF of our files. So, pretty handy.
And since we're at the animal shelter, how do you think it's impacted the the care of the animals themselves?
It has made record keeping easier as far as vaccines go. Again, when everything was on paper, you were handwriting out any treatments that you did. Now we're able to digitally log any vaccines that we give. We can make notes when an animal is impounded on any health conditions they might have, and that is a record that is there forever, so you can't lose it, it's there. So as far as keeping track of health conditions with animals, it has made it easier.
That's great. Well, certainly appreciate just a minute of your time today.
Yeah.
Been very helpful. Thank you. When you show up for work here at the courthouse every day, how long is it before you refer to the HR tracks?
It's pretty soon in my day. I'd say one of the first applications that I open, especially coming in off the weekend to review candidates that have applied for positions over the weekend. It's definitely one of the first applications that we utilize in my office.
Mm-hmm. So within the HR department, obviously there's a lot of formerly document-driven processes, and over the years we've successfully converted those into the digital equivalent. How has that affected your day-to-day life?
So prior to me, it was all paper, and we kind of implemented this process. And I don't know that I could operate as a department of one currently without it. It has proven to be very beneficial and efficient for me. We are almost no paper at this point, so it's great, cost saver. It saves me so much time to be able to just open an email and review a document anytime an employee submits anything.
Mm-hmm. So the management of employees, how has that process improved in general?
Right, absolutely. So it's been a huge benefit, especially from the applicant tracking process, for me to be able to see where applicants are in our processes. It allows me to start from resume all the way to the end of their employment with us. It allows me to track everything. There's, again, no paper, which is a great benefit to me because that means less filing time. But as far as candidates and things go, it allows for really easy communication, really easy access for me and our department heads to review the candidates they receive. And then as far as our current employees go, it's really simplified for them to submit documents to me for review and their supervisors.
So it probably makes the day-to-day life of employees better too.
Yes, absolutely. So when I first started, we were doing all paper onboarding, which is really stressful. Of course, it's the first day for someone's employment. They're nervous as it is, and they're filling out, anywhere from 13 to 15 documents and repeating the same information over and over. And it's super time-consuming to do that. And now with the new process, it takes us like less than 30 minutes to complete all the onboarding paperwork. But for our new employees, anytime they have to submit any kind of documentation that we require for a policy or PTO day, it's as simple as them taking a quick picture on their phone and dropping it in our employee portal.
Yeah, the various requests, like you mentioned, paid time off requests and so on.
Right.
Those are probably greatly simplified through the process.
Absolutely, yeah. It lets our department heads see everything, know not to approve something unless they have the proper documentation. And it definitely has helped our employees not lose as many documents, packing around copies of doctor's notes and things like that to their supervisors, department heads, and then to my office.
Great. So overall, pretty big improvement.
Oh, 100%. I don't know that we would be able to operate without it, honestly. At least I couldn't. Maybe some of our departments could, but I think our employees definitely prefer it, and a lot of them are honestly shocked when they come into our organization to recognize that we are paperless at this point.
So Jill, let me ask you this. We'll start by when you arrive here in the morning and kind of get to going about your daily work, how long before you refer to the track platform?
It definitely is part of my daily morning routine. Just much like we open email and start our day in that way. Specifically around the dashboards, and from an executive level, that gives me a operations overview immediately for all of our departments. And as the kind of the leader of operations for Madison County, that's ultimately important for both accountability of my team, but also to know where we stand. So I would say it's definitely part of the first part of my day.
Yeah, keeping those tasks moving forward, right?
And for us, it's, a little bit more about accountability, but it's also, I can know what's going on in real time, whether I have an animal shelter that's at capacity, or I have a backlog of work orders from the IT department or the road department. And then I can call up Katie or Scott or Chris, whomever it may be, and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they can provide an explanation. But it gives me the ability to know what questions to ask and really manage our day-to-day operations, but continue to move our organization forward from a performance improvement standpoint.
So it sounds like that it's a big part of your day throughout the day?
Absolutely.
And would you say that it's made your job easier?
Absolutely. Having come from a corporate environment, I'm used to looking at dashboards and monitoring progress and success, whether it's a project management standpoint or if it's daily operations. And so this gives me the ability to do that in a government perspective, which is an anomaly. As you know, we're managing our operations based on data and based on information rather than just perspective.
Right. So beyond just the process improvement, which has been our focus now for 9 years, what we've added to it more recently is visibility into processes, right?
Absolutely. And I think it is about, process improvement is just a glip of what we are actually doing here. It's actually accountability for our citizens and for our stakeholders. When we have someone that calls and says, you've never worked on my road, or I've called 7 times about this problem, I have the ability to look and say, hey, here's where my team's going and the field calls that they're making. But I also have the ability to know some context that goes along with that. And so it allows our citizens a little snapshot into what we're doing every day and how we're best using their tax dollars.
Right. And while we're talking about citizens, how do you feel like it's improved the quality of service of the constituents of Madison County?
I think that is probably one of my favorite parts, one of the things that I get most excited about, because it cuts out dead time and it cuts out the back and forth. And if you have a pothole on your county road and you go into the self-service portal on our website and you report that and you upload, we have the ability to get that process so much faster than you making a call to the road department or to your magistrate, and the magistrate making a call to the road supervisor, and the road supervisor who's out on a job making a call to the office, and then them putting a work order in queue. We're cutting out all those steps, so it probably improves our response time by 3 to 5 days. The same thing happens with our animal shelter every single day. One of the challenges when I first started that we were seeing is we weren't being super efficient in how we were managing calls out in the field because we couldn't see that in real time. Well, if our animal control officer is on Floyd Branch, which is out in the far corner of the county, and then they go up to Whitehall, you're talking a 25 to 30 minute drive. When there's another call that came in the southern part of the county, now they're getting that information in real time and they're addressing both of those immediately instead of going back and forth and decreasing not only the mileage but just making the operations more efficient.
Big cost savings there.
Yeah, and it makes our staff more efficient, which then in turn makes the operations of the entire county more efficient.
When you come in to get things going here in the morning, how long is it typically before you open up and have a look at the track platform?
I would say within the first hour of being here, especially once our team gets in here, a lot of times that we're reviewing that data, 3 times a week in the mornings, just to see where our teams are and how we're tracking throughout the county and our different departments.
Sure. So managing a county like you do, there obviously are requests coming in all the time from every different direction. And would you say that the Trax platform helps you to address those different requests and sort of stay on track of those requests?
Absolutely, there's no question, especially with road tracks. Being able for citizens to be able to go online and fill out those work order requests, and I mean it just streamlines it. We've even had discussions with our magistrates about, hey man, if you utilize this, it'll actually speed up the process to get that work done quicker.
Right. So would you say that you're referring to the platform throughout the day?
Absolutely, there's no question. I mean, it's so efficient. It speeds up the process. It takes the demand of really labor away from the paperwork and all the handwritten ledgers and all that kind of stuff. It streamlines it.
Right. So you've been in office long enough to kind of be here throughout this whole process, over about the last 9 years as we've implemented the Trax platform. Today I had the real privilege really of going around and interviewing different department heads, right? Head of road department, head of the animal shelter, Jill here, who's your right hand, HR director, and so on. And the big takeaway for me is just how significant it has impacted their daily work. And so I would think, from your perspective, if all the department heads are doing their job better and more efficient, your job is probably impacted the same way.
Absolutely, it is so efficient, and that's why I ran for office, because I really wanted to change how government works, and I'll never forget. It all goes back to kind of snow tracks is where it all started. When I first came into office in 2015, we got these big snow events, and I was getting all these phone calls about, why haven't you plowed my road, or and we had plowed it, but there was no proof that we plowed it. People in the city limits were calling us about plowing the city's road or a state route. They didn't know the difference in whose responsibilities it was, and so it all kind of came around the snow track system. So that and this whole setup is educating our citizens.
Right.
A part of it is educating them on real data, on factual information, and being able to prove it. And that's what I love about it, because we want to be an administration where our citizens see results, and this is a way that you can see results. A lot of times citizens might speculate that, they don't do anything in animal control. But when you get on animal tracks and you see how many animals that we have, how many work order tickets that we've already, or calls we've responded to, I mean, it shows the citizens, they actually do a lot. Same way with our road tracks.
So responding to constituent concerns has got to be a lot easier, right? Because the data is there, available, and easy to decipher and refer to.
Absolutely, and it's only going to get better. Some of this is still what we consider new. So I think that the more that we citizens get educated, the more our teams. I mean, they deal with it on a daily basis. But the more that they get more comfortable with it and using it, the smart search tools, all those different tools, the more people get used to it, the more they're going to use it.
Yep. And the constituents' ability now to not necessarily need to come to the courthouse to pay taxes and so on and so forth, right. That certainly improved their quality of life.
It did, and it saves them money, saves them time, because time is money.
Yep.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've just been on. You've had the privilege to listen to the testimonials of Scott Shepard, the Road Department Supervisor, Katie Banks, the Animal Shelter Director, Morgan Elliston, the HR Department Lead, Jill Williams, the Deputy Judge Executive, and Reagan Taylor, the Judge Executive of the county. These individuals are the driving force behind Madison County's operations. The Trax platform has truly reshaped their worlds, bringing efficiency, transparency, and accountability to their daily operations. Road Trax provides real-time visibility into work orders, helping the road department efficiently manage tasks and budgets. Animal Trax streamlined the animal shelter's operations, enhancing record-keeping and response times to citizen concerns. HR Trax eliminated time-consuming paperwork, revolutionizing the HR department's applicant tracking and onboarding processes. Our Tracks platform has empowered the executive leadership of the county with real-time data, efficient citizen request handling, and transparent governance. Are you ready to unlock the potential of our Tracks platform in city or county government? Say goodbye to paperwork and welcome productivity with open arms. Let's transform your daily tasks together and embrace a paperless future.
Follow the link to our website for more information and thank you for watching.